To get set up for this super fun technique, playing with leaf colors and patterns, you'll need a paintbrush. I am going to show you how to work with a brush that has a rounded bristle, and any size will do. You could work with a water chamber brush like this one. It may not be quite as satisfying as a more traditional brush. You'll need watercolors. Whatever set you have is going to be fine. I always get my colors activated using a spray bottle of water. You definitely want some clear water nearby to rinse your brush in. And then after the watercolor dries, it's really fun to go back over the leaves with a variety of pens. So I have some black pens and gel pens, and then of course my favorite white pen. After you've done that, you'll probably want a glue stick and a pair of scissors. And I'm working on very inexpensive watercolor paper that I buy in a pad. You can usually find this even in the dollar store. The least expensive is probably about 90 pounds. So it doesn't matter, because we're going to be cutting up the leaves. It doesn't really matter what watercolor you're working on. So the first thing that's important to know are the different areas of your paintbrush. This, of course, this area here has the hair or bristles. This is the key. This is the ferrule. That's the metal, that little tubing that's holding the bristles onto the handle. And down here is called the crimp, where it's kind of ridgy. And then this is the handle. And it's important to know where the ferrule is, because to do this technique, you are going to, I'm getting my brush wet and I'm picking up some color. You're going to sit the brush down like that. And when I sit it, my bristles are pointing out, my ferrule is straight up, and then I'm going to flick it towards the ferrule, and that's going to create a leaf shape. So on your watercolor paper, you're going to sit and flick, sit and flick, sit and flick. And now I'm rinsing off my brush just to get a fun different color. Sit and flick, sit and flick. And your different size brushes are going to give you different results. So here's my little travel brush, which I'll sit and flick, but I'm not getting, that's giving me something really small, which is fine. With the travel brush, imagine that you have your ferrule there. So when you sit it and you flick it towards the ferrule, you can pull it up and get that general leaf shape. And so I encourage you to grab the brushes you have on hand and play with this, because you'll get different sizes and slightly different shapes depending on how you flick towards the ferrule. And you can curve it and just kind of play around with those leaf shapes to get all different kinds of images. I just had so much fun. I played with all my different brushes, and I just went around my palette picking up different colors so I could get a wide variety of leaf background colors. Okay, I've let all those leaf shapes dry, and now I just have a good time coming in and adding pattern with whatever pen I feel like using. Here's my white pen, which is a Sakura Uniball, and I can just do all kinds of patterns, decorations with the white pen on the dry watercolor. I also really like gold watercolor paint. This is something I found, you can find it anywhere, but I like the Dick Blick brand, whatever. And here's a paintbrush with this gold. You have to let the water sit a little bit. But look how much fun this is. I can get down some gold accents, and I can just play with a whole variety of patterns. I've created this pattern idea sheet for you. You can stop the video and take a screenshot if you just need a few ideas around what patterns you can add to your leaves. When I'm cutting out my leaves, I like to leave a little white space around the entire shape. It seems to stand out a little bit better. And then once I get them cut out, I can glue them down in my journal or on a greeting card, and there's no end to the fun I have just kind of figuring out the composition and if I want to add imaginary flowers and just playing. And after all, isn't that the whole point? Just have some fun. Well, I hope you've had fun and created a bunch of these little beauties. Now what to do with them? Well, if you followed any of my other videos, you know I really like to work on postcards. This is a watercolor postcard. I'm going to just take some green paint, but I could use gold, pink, purple, whatever. And I'm just going to do a bunch of lines going up just to create the feeling of grassy shapes like that. Once these grassy lines have dried, now I get to just have a blast. I take some scrap paper, flip my cutout leaf over, rub some glue on it, and start having a good time gluing all these leaves that have fallen or are different colors down to the bottom. When that's done, and you can see I've used gold here for the grassy shapes. Here's all my leaves glued on, and I have a few coming out of the sky. I just added a border, kind of a rough wiggly line, so I don't have to worry about being straight. And I'm ready to send the postcard. As I glue them, I'm overlapping the leaves. So one trick is to save a few of the leaves that you like the most for the top layer. When you're finished, if you happen to have a brayer, go ahead and brayer down over the leaves so they stick really well. And then the final thing is that I like to add is this border that's just kind of wiggly and broken up a little bit. I don't know why, it just seems to finish the work and make it feel complete. So I'm coming around, letting these leaves overlap, and there you go. And I hope you had fun. I did. I love all these colors, and I love the different shapes, and I love the season changing and getting away from this hot weather to the colors of autumn. And if you had fun with this video, please like and subscribe down below and check out my website where you can sign up for my newsletter.